Hello everyone, this is Alpha Omega. Grab's stock performance has been really strong lately, so let's take a look at why that is. They announced their earnings in April. I'll talk about it based on that. First of all, these are the highlights from the first quarter of 2025. Revenue increased by 18% compared to the same period last year. Next, if you look here, there's something called gross merchandise value. I'll briefly explain what that means later, but this also increased by 16%. Next, both operating profit before tax and free cash flow improved compared to the same period last year. So, when asked why things have improved like this is what they say. Alright, here it mentions new products. I'm not sure if any of you have used Grab before, but anyway, it's actually really convenient to use. If you look, Grab Food for One is a meal delivery service for a single serving. So, what did they say at the conference call? When it comes to single-serving meal delivery, what's good for the sellers is that they can make food in bulk and sell it one portion at a time, which increases efficiency. They mentioned this. Whose efficiency is that? It's the efficiency of the merchants. That's what was discussed at the conference call. And next is Shield Saver. This is about splitting the delivery fee. So, for example, if I order delivery by myself, the fee is $10, but if 4 people order together, the delivery fee goes down. Well, except for food that needs to be eaten quickly or items that need to be delivered urgently. There are often times when you want to save on delivery fees and don't mind if the delivery is a bit slower. In those cases, this was really useful. I've actually used this several times myself, and it was really great. Alright, next, when you see airport and then advanced booking comes up. This is something that was already available before. But basically, if you have a flight on a certain date next month, or you need to get to the airport by a certain time, you can reserve a car in advance for that time. Next, if you look here, it seems like they've also added AI software that takes real-time flight delays into account and automatically adjusts the pickup time accordingly. I haven't had a chance to try this feature yet. Now, there's also something called Grab for Family, and as you can see, it mentions teens, meaning it's for teenagers. What this is that, for example, if your child needs to go somewhere and you call a Grab for them, there's a risk that a complete stranger could show up and take your child, which could be very dangerous. So, to prevent that from happening, the driver and you, the parent, must have matching PIN numbers before the child can be picked up. So, they've added this kind of feature to enhance safety. With all these different products coming out, more users started using Grab, and their sales increased. That's how we can sum it up. Now, this is a comparison of users between the first quarter of 2023 and the first quarter of 2025. If you look here, it shows the number of daily active users, then monthly, and then annually. The numbers go from 6 million to 7 million daily, 33 million to 45 million monthly, and annually, from 88 million to 119 million customers who come to Grab and use their services. It also seems like more and more people are being drawn to Grab. Yes, that's Grab for you. Now, if we look at the financial results, their current cash liquidity is $5.85 billion. They're holding an enormous amount of cash right now, so it seems like they don't have to worry about money for the time being. Next, the amount they spent in the year 2024 was $105 million. Back in 2023, 2022, and 2021, they used to spend almost $3.4 billion a year, but at that time, they were pouring a lot of money into capturing the market in Malaysia, Singapore, and then Indonesia. But those expenses have decreased a lot. So last year, they spent $105 million. Given that, if they currently have $5.8 billion on hand, we can understand that they have a very long cash runway. Now, if you look here, you can see that GNV is mentioned. Next, they talk about MTU and then incentives. They also mention loans, but first, they're comparing it to the same period last year. The GNV, or gross merchandise value, increased from $4.24 billion to $4.9 billion. Let me explain a bit about GNV. This is also called total order value. So, when customers use Grab to shop at the grocery store, rent a car, or order food delivery, the total sales generated from these activities are referred to as GNV. For example, if someone uses Grab Food to order a $15 pizza. After that, I went to GrabMart to do some shopping. They bought water, which cost $11.50. Then, if they had something else delivered for $7.70, the total of $34.20 would be counted as GNV. This is exactly the definition of gross merchandise value. So, if you look here, the fact that GNV has increased compared to the same period last year means that more sales are being generated through Grab. Next, M2 here refers to monthly transacting users, as mentioned earlier. This is also increasing right now. The number of customers is also going up. Here, you can see the incentives. There are partner incentives and consumer incentives. So, who are the partners? You know, the drivers. The people who are doing ride-sharing for us right now, and then the ones doing deliveries. These are the drivers who get the incentives. Grab says, if these drivers work hard or meet certain conditions, we'll give them incentives. Next, what are consumer incentives? They're basically promotions, like giving out discount vouchers. Those kinds of things, handing them out to customers to attract more users, that's what the spending is for, and that's how we should understand it. You can see that as sales increased, they gave out a bit more incentives to drive that growth. Now, next, they're also providing loans. This is their loan portfolio. Compared to the same period last year, the size of their loans has grown. Also, as the size of the loans increases, they can earn more interest income here. So, keep in mind that this increase is definitely a good thing. As a result, compared to the same period last year, revenue increased from $653 million to $773 million, which is about an 18% increase. That's how we can sum it up. Now, this is the financials, but for the entire group. So, this includes everything, delivery, loans, and all the rest combined. Revenue is $773 million, and you can see the on-demand gross merchandise value again. It's $4.932 billion. Next, the operating profit before tax also improved, going from $60 to $106 million, so keep that in mind. If you look here, they break it down into delivery and then mobility, which is ride-sharing. Next, here is financial services, which refers to lending money. Out of these three areas, the delivery sector is doing pretty well. Revenue has gone up. GNV has increased and EBITDA has also improved. Similarly, mobility, rideshare, revenue has improved, GMV is up, and EBITDA has gotten better too. So, what's the problem child here? Well, it's right here. It's the financial services sector. Revenue is going up. Revenue is increasing, and the size of the loans being issued is also growing, but so far, it's still not operating profit before tax. It's a loss. So, we can sum it up by saying that the loss has increased to minus $30 million. This is what they're saying at the conference call. This quarter, for the first time, we started issuing loans at this new bank. Where is it? Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore. And now, the size of the loans is steadily growing. That's a good thing. But here, they also said that so far, we haven't found any bad loans in our lending. By bad loans, we mean situations where we've lent money to customers, but those customers don't pay it back. That's what we call bad loans, but so far, they said they haven't seen any of those yet. Next, as we've been lending out more money, we've had to increase what's called the expected credit loss on our financial statements. They reflected that as a loss on the financial statements. So as a result, it might look like the EBITDA has gotten a bit worse. So just keep that in mind. Basically, if they can just improve the financial side a bit, I think this company could really generate flawless revenue, and I wanted to share that with you all. They also released their overall outlook for 2025, projecting between $3.3 billion and $3.4 billion. So, how much was it compared to the same period last year? It's an increase from $2.79 billion. Then they raised the EBITDA for the entire group in 2025, which was originally between $440 and $470 million. They've raised it like this. So, it seems that the executives are very optimistic about Grab's 2025 outlook and expectations. They also showed a lot of confidence during the conference call. So, anyway, the fact that they raised their guidance was also a very important reason for the stock price increase. So anyway, as I mentioned earlier, they currently have a lot of cash on hand, and even though they had a net loss of $105 million last year, in 2024, they still have a very long cash runway. I just wanted to emphasize that again as we wrap up today. Right now, the stock price is $4.90. In my opinion, if they keep running the business this well and managing the company effectively, the stock price will probably keep going up. That's all I wanted to share with you today. If you have any other questions or things you're curious about, please leave a comment and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll wrap up today's video here. Goodbye.